Let's dive into a really charming story by James Herriot called A Triumph of Surgery. It's all about a little dog who is loved so much he's almost loved to death, and a vet who comes up with a pretty radical cure that, well, it involves no medicine at all.
Right from the get-go, we're hit with this incredible image. Our narrator, the vet Mr. Herriot, sees the dog, Tricky, and describes him as a bloated sausage with a leg at each corner. Wow. With just that one sentence, we know we have a serious problem on our hands.
So let's meet the key players here. We've got Tricky, our little over-pampered dog. Then there's his owner, Mrs. Pumphrey, who is incredibly wealthy and just dotes on him. And finally, our narrator, the vet, who sees this whole disaster unfolding. It's really a story about how love can go a little too far.
So what does Mrs. Pumphrey think is wrong with her listless, overweight dog? Get this, she's convinced he's suffering from malnutrition. It's just a perfect example of how completely she's misreading the situation. Her solution to his weakness is, you guessed it, even more food.
Because the real problem, of course, was his diet. I mean, on top of his regular meals, Mrs. Pumphrey was giving him all these little extras to build up his strength. Things like malt, cod liver oil, a bowl of Horlicks, and then the real killers, cream cakes and chocolates. It was just a total recipe for disaster.
But when you boil it all down, the problem was really pretty simple. Tricky's only real fault was greed. He just loved food, and he'd never ever learned to say no. You combine that with an owner who can't stand to deny him anything, and well, you've got a perfect storm.
Now, Mr. Herriot, the vet, he tries to warn her. He tells her, you've got to cut back his food, you need to get him exercising, but he knows in his heart she's not going to do it. He realizes that something much more drastic is going to be needed to save this little dog's life.
And yep, just as he predicted, it wasn't long before the phone rang. Mr. Herriot had actually been expecting it. He knew this moment was coming, that things at home were only going to get worse.
It's Mrs. Pumphrey, and she's absolutely frantic. Tricky has finally hit rock bottom. He won't eat anything, he's throwing up, and he just lies on the rug, panting. This is one very sick dog.
Mr. Herriot doesn't even hesitate. He knows what needs to be done. His solution is firm, and it's immediate. Tricky has to be hospitalized for a fortnight. That's 2 weeks, away from Mrs. Pumphrey and under his direct care.
Well, as you can imagine, Mrs. Pumphrey is devastated. She's sure Tricky will just pine away and die without her. But the vet, he stands his ground. The scene is just pure chaos. Maids are rushing out with Tricky's daybed, his nightbed, his cushions, his coats, his bowls, all while a tearful Mrs. Pumphrey watches him drive away.
All right, so now we're at the surgery, where Tricky's real treatment is about to start. He arrives at the vet's office, and for him, this is like landing on another planet. It has none of the luxuries he's used to. For the first time in his life, he's about to find out what it's like to just be a dog.
So what was this complicated surgery Tricky was going to get? Well, have a look. It was incredibly simple. For 2 whole days, no food, just water. Then they just let him out with all the other dogs at the surgery. He started to play, to run, and he even learned that he had to compete a little bit for his meals. No medicine, just pure, simple common sense.
And you know what? It worked! Just look at him. This little pampered puffball of a dog became an accepted member of the gang. He was this silky little thing among a shaggy crew, and he was running and playing, just acting like a normal dog for the first time ever.
And here's the really amazing part. Tricky was having the time of his life. He was discovering what it was like to be part of a pack, getting bowled over, tramped on, squashed every few minutes. He was genuinely happy in a way his pampered life could never have made him.
Okay, so just as Tricky is getting better, the story takes this absolutely hilarious turn. Mrs. Pumphrey is at home, still worried sick, and she hears that Tricky is convalescing. So she decides he needs some special things to build his strength back up, which leads to some pretty great deliveries for the vet.
First, fresh eggs start showing up. And we're not talking a couple, we're talking 24 at a time. Obviously, that's way too much for a little dog, so Mr. Herriot and his partners start having a 2-egg breakfast every single morning.
But oh, it didn't stop there. Next, she starts sending bottles of wine because she thinks it will enrich Tricky's blood. Suddenly, lunch for the vet and his staff becomes, as he puts it, a ceremonial occasion.
And just when you think it can't get any better, the brandy shows up. Can you imagine? The vets found themselves ending their days sitting around the fire, sipping on fine brandy, all in the name of Tricky's recovery.
I mean, with all this going on, Mr. Harriet actually jokes about it. With eggs for breakfast, wine with lunch, and brandy to close out the day, he says it was a real temptation to just keep Tricky there forever. But of course, he knew Mrs. Pumphrey was suffering without her little pet.
So, after 2 weeks, the time has come. The cure is complete. It's time for Tricky to go home. Mr. Harriet makes the call, and Mrs. Pumphrey shows up almost instantly.
And the transformation is just staggering. In only 2 weeks, that bloated, listless little preacher that arrived has been completely transformed into a picture of perfect health. And remember, this was all done without a single drop of medicine.
He's no longer a sausage on legs. The vet describes him as a lithe, hard-muscled animal. He's running with the other dogs, keeping up, stretching out in these great bounds. He is, for all intents and purposes, a brand new dog.
The reunion is just a moment of pure, absolute joy. The second Tricky sees his mistress, he launches himself out of the vet's arms and sails right into her lap, licking her face, barking. He's just bursting with energy and happiness.
And as Mrs. Pumphrey drives away, she says this line that is just so perfectly ironic. She has absolutely no idea that the surgery was just a bit of diet and exercise. To her, Mr. Harriet has performed a medical miracle. It's a fantastic ending that really makes you think, doesn't it? When does that loving care cross the line and become harmful? And what does it really take to get better?